Good morning, everyone. I'm Nikki Stanzione.
And I'm Kristen Van Dyke.
And this is New Mexico style. Still stuffy. I'm sorry. I still sound crappy.
Those colds, they have a tendency to stick around.
I know, but I'm trying, again, I'm not being germy. I'm trying to be very, very aware of that. Because I hate when people have colds or they're sick and they just don't have any consideration for the people around them. That drives me nuts. So I don't want to be that person.
Right.
I do not.
And the whole thing of like sneezing into your sleeve
elbow.
or not onto your hand. That's where everything goes. So.
Exactly. And you know, we're going to talk about some very serious topics today, obviously, again with the fires, but I want to just mention, and I know, you know, if you're on Facebook or any of the social media networks, you're noticing people are talking a lot about July 4th and fireworks, and I really just want to emphasize there are so many great ways to celebrate this holiday weekend. So what if you can't set off fireworks? Please don't. It's so important that we take care of the state right now, and there's so many other great things you can do. So I'm just putting in my 2 cents as usual, but really, just ixnay with the fireworks, This is the worst, I mean, this is the worst conditions that we have had on record for the state as far as how dry it is, the drought, and so the fire conditions just absolutely horrible, and of course fires just popping up everywhere these days. Yeah, in fact, let's check in with Mike Powers, who actually has the latest on the Lost Conscious fire.
All right, Nikki, thank you very much. As you mentioned, the fire is unofficially at about 90,000 acres. That's up about 20,000 from yesterday. It is still about 3% contained, but the good news is that there are no fires in Los Alamos or on the property of Los Alamos National Lab. Let's head to Los Alamos right now. Our David Romero is live near the Medical Center on Trinity in Los Alamos with more on all of this. David?
Well, there's a good reason for that, Mike, that they were able to prevent the fires from coming close or even approaching the Los Alamos lab property. That's because they took measures yesterday to do preventative measures, rather, to burn off some of the potential fuel that could have ignited or could have been ignited by spot fires and caused damage to the property. They did have a 1-acre spot fire there earlier this week, which they were able to extinguish, but they have been going out through the western part of the city and, of course, the lab property, making sure that they can prevent those kind of things from happening. Now, echoing what the governor had mentioned earlier this week at one of the noon press conferences, is that she is urging all New Mexicans to not use fireworks this 4th of July holiday, and because of that too, White Rock, which is just down the hill from here in Los Alamos, has canceled their 4th of July show and celebration this year. And that's good reason, because not only because it's a volatile area, but this is something that the governor has asked people here in New Mexico to do. There are other ways, as has been mentioned, that you can celebrate the 4th, but avoiding lighting fireworks is just one of those.
And of course, David, the people at the National Lab are very concerned about keeping their radioactive materials and other experiments safe, and they have said all along this week, hey, everything is safe, we've got this under control.
I'm sorry, Mike, you cut out there just a little bit on that last part of the question.
Well, I was just talking about how Los Alamos National Lab, the officials there, are trying to reassure everyone that lab property is safe. Basically, no matter what happens there, they have security in place to keep their experiments and radioactive materials safe.
Exactly, Mike, and that's what the lab officials have stressed all week, is that the areas where they have those containers that contain the radioactive waste that are just, be it clothes and tools that they were using, those are in secured drums in a secured area. And even from the Cerro Grande fire, they took preventative measures to make sure that that area will not have fuels that can burn and get to it, and they're continuing to keep a watch on it through this fire right now.
David Romero reporting live in Los Alamos. David, thank you so very much. And of course, we're all keeping an eye on the winds today because they're supposed to change a little bit. And I know, Kristen, you'll have more on that coming up in just a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, today is going to be the key day when it comes to battling this fire. It's going to be the toughest day for the firefighters so far. We're going to be looking at stronger winds today, and then yesterday the winds were more southeasterly, so that was pushing the fire away from Los Alamos. Today, it's going to be pushing more out of the southwest, and so that could potentially push the fire into Los Alamos. So all eyes on that, and the winds again even stronger today. And then this year we're just so dry. We have the drought. and a lot of comparisons have been made between the fires, this fire and the Cerro Grande fire 11 years ago, and we're in worse shape now than we were then.
Well, this is actually now New Mexico's most destructive fire season ever. So I mean, that says a lot. And I mean, the whole country this year, I don't know. Mother Nature really needs to change her mood. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, of course, a lot of people coming together and helping out, and we want to give a shout out to Smith's Food Stores, which announced that they are going to immediately stop selling fireworks in all of their New Mexico stores due to the fire danger in the state.
That's so good, yeah.
So,
I mean, CeeLo and Rihanna are going to be out this weekend on the 4th, and you've got the big Freedom 4th. You know, there's so many different things. So just start planning ahead and watch the fireworks on TV. Who cares? Really, it'll save your ears from having you know, any problems.
Yeah, and we just don't need any other issues with the fires. So
exactly.
that's for sure.
Now, I want to mention that another community meeting is actually planned for tonight for Los Alamos evacuees. This is going to be good for you guys to really get a hold on what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be held at the Senior Center on the Santa Clara Pueblo, and that's located on 1 Key Street. This meeting gets underway at 5 o'clock this evening.
Yes, and more than 250 people spent the night at 2 Red Cross shelters that are set up for evacuees, and the Red Cross continues to ask for monetary donations. So important.
Well, our new face of Fox, Elias Gallegos, spoke to the Red Cross to find out how New Mexicans can help with the disaster relief. Here's a look.
Hi, I'm Elias Gallegos. I am here with Arthur Bishop, who is the spokesperson for the American Red Cross here in New Mexico. We have a few questions for you today, Arthur, pertaining to the fires.
Okay.
What can New Mexicans do locally to help the evacuees?
Well, the best way that people can help the Red Cross during this disaster relief effort is actually to make a cash donation to us. They can do that very easily by visiting www.redcross.org or simply mailing or dropping off a check to our headquarters office in Albuquerque at 142 Monroe Street Northeast.
Is there any families that you have helped, and how can you share an example?
We've had 2 shelters open since Sunday evening, and we actually have one down in Cloudcroft now too. And in those shelters, we've been assisting more than 150 people with basic needs items like cots, blankets, food, and water, things like that. People, those are individuals, those are families, those are children. You know, we really, take everyone.
Tell us a little bit about the Red Cross and your main goals pertaining to this specific fire.
Well, we're going to keep our shelters open as long as we need to. We're fully staffed. We have more than enough material items ready to go to help people out, and we'll be there until this disaster's over.
Is there any way that you can shed some light on to how much money you've collected so far, or is there a goal?
Well, basically what happens is we encourage people to donate to our disaster relief fund, which is what we draw from to provide things at the shelters, as well as help people with longer term care after the disaster is over.
Great. What should evacuees take with them if a fire threatens their home?
Well, the Red Cross always encourages preparedness, and part of that is maybe having a kit on hand at your house that has things like food, water, maybe an extra set of clothing, maybe an extra cell phone, some cash, a list of contacts, pretty much anything that if you had to leave at a moment's notice, you could utilize that.
What do you need most from donors, and what is the most significant things that New Mexicans can do for this emergency?
Well, the best way that people locally and across the state can help out with as far as supporting the Red Cross in this disaster relief effort is making a cash donation to us. The easiest way to do that is to visit redcross.org or simply drop off or mail a check to our headquarters office in Albuquerque at 142 Monroe Street Northeast.
Thank you, folks. Stay tuned for more helpful hints and facts pertaining to the fires.
Great, and I'm glad he had a chance to talk to them, and we get to hear it straight from them. And really, thanks again to the Red Cross for all they do always in protecting the communities. And you can see right on the screen exactly where you can make those monetary donations. Now, we want to also let everybody know that meanwhile, New Mexico Attorney General Gary King is actually warning residents about fake phone calls that are attempting to solicit money to benefit victims of the wildfire burning near Los Alamos.
Yeah, it's been a big problem. King says his office and the Red Cross are getting complaints from New Mexicans who are receiving automated calls that ask for financial contributions for fire victims. The calls are requesting personal information, which of course you never give out over the phone.
That's a no-no. I hate to think that. You know, you think that people are doing good things. Why would you screw it up by doing something like that?
There's always one bad apple, right?
There's always one bad apple, exactly. And there's always some bad weather that we have to contend with.
Right, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So again, we're talking about today being the key day. If we can hold the line today, things are looking better. So
okay,
here's
that's good.
Forecast.
I like lights at the end of the tunnel.